Hello and welcome to today's movie review. Today we're going to do something a little bit differently, as not only are we going to review one movie, we're going to review two, because they are in the same series, and I felt that for the upcoming release of Once Upon a Deadpool that it is best to talk about both Deadpool 1 and 2 together in one review. Why would I do that, you ask? Well, it comes down a lot to the fact on how similar these films are, and to review Deadpool 2 in lieu of Once Upon a Deadpool without discussing the first Deadpool is in poor taste, really. So let's first talk about Deadpool. So Deadpool is played by Ryan Reynolds. The cast is rounded out with Marina Baccarin, Ed Skrein, Gina Carano, T.J. Miller, Brenda Hildebrand, Leslie Uggams, and Karan Sani. This film is very vulgar, very violent, very graphic, and it's Deadpool. They stick very close to the character of Wade Wilson, and they really hit it on the mark. When you ask about plot, this movie is divided into segments. You start on a freeway action sequence that really sets the tone for the film. We flash back to the freeway, we flash back a couple more times, and then we move on from the freeway once we catch up. There's a lot of violence, there's a lot of swearing, a lot of adult humor, a lot of adult jokes, and a lot of nudity. There is so much to the point that Stan Lee's cameo in Deadpool is him being a strip club DJ, which in itself is hilarious. Deadpool stays true to the character. He's funny, he's vulgar, he does not care what anyone thinks about him, and he is constantly talking to the audience. Now, the film is an origin story for Deadpool, but at the same time it is a very deep-seated romance between him and Marina Baccarin's character of Vanessa. Throughout the film we see how close they are to each other, how much they love each other, and we see Wade going through everything from his terminal illness to trying to get better to not wanting to scare Vanessa with how things turned out. And everything he does in this film is to get back to being the person that she fell in love with from a physical standpoint, not realizing that she loved him more for himself than just the way he looked. We fast forward to Deadpool 2, and most of the cast returns as their same characters. The only two that do not return are Ed Skrein and Gina Carano. But in their place, we do get a handful of new actors playing new characters. This is mostly presented with Josh Brolin playing Cable and Julian Dennison playing a child by the name of Russell Collins. If you go so far with Deadpool 2, you'll realize it's the extended story of Deadpool. The themes are the violence is still there, the love between Vanessa and Wade is still there, and the interactions and the reactions of the way Wade is still there. The biggest difference is, if you want to consider, like I do, Deadpool being a love film, a love story, then Deadpool 2 is a family story about how Wade is bringing in this new group of people and how much he loves and needs them. And even Wade doesn't realize that he needs this in his life. And as we move forward, they start to realize that they need him too. And it bonds and creates this family, which would, in hope, my hope anyway, eventually leads to an inevitable X-Force film. But with that being said, we kind of run into Once Upon a Deadpool, which is kind of a retelling of at least Deadpool 2. I would not be surprised if there is some of Deadpool 1 there. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to go, but it should be interesting to see nonetheless. But with that said, and we go back to Deadpool 1 and 2, you can kind of sum it up like this. No one of the younger ages that are used to seeing the Marvel films, the Iron Mans and the Captain Americas, should be seeing this film. There's nudity, excessive violence, constant swearing, and gallons of blood. It's completely adult oriented, and for that reason, it is very hard R, and I, in good conscience, cannot recommend it to anyone under the age of 17. It's just that graphic and that gruesome and that adult oriented. But with that said, if you have seen either of these two films, as I have, and I have enjoyed both of them, leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought about that film. Spark that conversation. And until next time, have a good night.